Hey, I had a few encounters this weekend. One of which I wanted to tell you about. And these are not encounters with like strange people, though that also often happens. This one was just me with a trained television advert that I
Are
was
you
like
getting in
watching.
fights with advertisements now?
Yeah, anyway,
Proceed.
I'm just on a crowded train, and they now and above the doors they have these monitors that show like the
Yeah.
weather, like small little news clips and things like that. And they have this one that's been playing recently that goes the following way. There's a kid at like the home. They're on the landing, like where you get onto like a train, and the kid gives like a piece of paper to like the station master who's there, you know.
Okay.
And the station master kind of leans down. He's got the little hat on, the smart uniform, and all this. And he kind of takes with this young guy, and he takes the picture from him, and he's all smiling and happy, and he turns it around, and it's a little crayon drawing of a train, and then a little kid, and like the station master, and they're all like, "Way!" and like it's
Yay.
like a shitty kid drawing with like the heads are too big and the legs and
Get
arms.
good, kid.
Yeah, get good, get it. And then the station master just crumples it up and throws it onto the tracks.
Yeah. Best commercial ever.
Yeah. And I was like, what exactly? I mean, it was for an app for the train company. This was what it was for. But like, whoever was in charge of making this commercial, was like, let's just go with that. But like, as I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, this is sort of supposed to be wholesome. But like in my brain, I kept thinking about like, okay, first of all, this guy who is like in uniform is just like an employee of the train company.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But he's
Like,
the
first
nicest
of all,
employee, though.
well, yeah. So first of all, like he should be like. Don't you have responsibilities? Don't, like you have to be worried
No.
about like trains coming in
Get
or
on
like
the
helping
train.
customers.
It's just stuck there.
Like, or if he's off duty, like this kid comes up, he's like, "Dude, I'm done. Like I'm going home. I'm not getting
We
with."
can tell who has worked retail at the holidays right here. Because I'm
And,
with
like,
Jay on this. I'm
all-
like, nah, kid, no.
All these like yeah, exactly. It's like when you see like clips of people at like Disney World that are like in costume, like when their shift is done, and they're just like knocking kids over to get like back on. They're like, but it's Goof, but Mickey Mouse, and it's like, yeah, see ya.
Bye.
Stiff arming them out
Finds
of the
the
way. to get
secret exit like in the fence and just disappears.
Yeah, but this is how fucked up I am. So I'm watching this kind of wholesome ad. Like there's certain ads that you watch that are so wholesome, like a television ad or whatever, and make you cry or whatever. You know, like oh, that's a television for Advil, and I'm like bawling or whatever. Like this one is supposed to be wholesome, and I'm like, don't you have shit to do? Like, or to go home to like. I guess I had a bad week.
For this conductor,
I
go
guess
run.
I had a bad week.
Have you cried at a commercial?
Oh yeah. I had male. I'm going through male menopause.
Oh, no.
This is called menopause, but
Just menopause. Yeah. I sometimes commercials just like I'm like, oh, that was so touching. You know, it was like just they're really
Aw.
like sweet. And
do I have a heart of
amazing.
steel or something? Because I don't think I've ever gotten close to crying at a commercial. Like
could send you
I bawl for movies, cartoon
Yeah.
movies, any kind of movie. Yeah, I will cry, even at the smallest thing. But a commercial, I'm usually kind of annoyed by commercials. So
Some of them are pretty good. There's all these like YouTube mashups of like all these like really famous commercials from like Thailand and Vietnam and China and stuff like that that are like really
Oh my God, I
heartwarming,
would
kind of
love
touching
to
stories
see
and stuff like
this.
that. And you would just cry.
All right, we need to do this for Patreon. We need to just watch this together and see who breaks, because I want you to break me. I do not cry at any like media. I just don't.
whoa,
I
at
don't.
anything.
No, like it can hit me much later when I'm thinking about it, or for some, the only thing that will make me actually cry, like on a dime, is when you see people come together unexpectedly to do a thing. Like why that's a thing, I don't know, but it's like the collective. Let's take care of this problem that's so not cheesy. Like I can see through the bullshit. But that stuff will kind of get me choked up. But no movies, no anything. Sometimes I'm even laughing. Like, some things just strike me as the funniest shit.
Documentaries, not even documentaries.
Documentaries will do it.
Mhm.
What?
I can feel kind of ill about things. Like, no, I just. So please do it. Find something.
Have you seen Grave of the Fireflies? That thing kills me at the start of that movie.
All right,
Dear Zachary.
I'll check that one out. I'll do that. Like that.
Oh yeah, that was
one,
brutal.
Brutal,
Dear Zachary.
dude. Brutal. So sad. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I mean, that's not really the uplifting, happy opener that I was going for to bring up Dear
But-
Zachary in the cold open. But
Wow. But listeners, if you have a suggestion, please put it in the comments to break me.
Wow.
Break Sandra, everybody.
Break me.
Wrecker.
A record, yeah. Yeah, and then these are the weird thoughts that go through my head. So I'm sitting on the train and I'm watching this thing and I'm just like furious. Probably more for the fact that it's a crowded train. And then I'm like, okay, let me distract myself by thinking about something else. And I started thinking about like they used to sell candy, cigarettes to children.
Yeah.
I'm like, that was a thing. That was
Multiple
the thing.
types. There were multiple types.
How about you guys? Any weird thoughts? Any strange encounters? Any unsolved mysteries?
Unsolved mysteries. Mm.
God, that takes me back, right?
Yeah.
My arms are feeling better. I'm slowly getting.
What? Were they gonna fall off?
Why were your arms? Like, did you fall asleep on both of them? And then
I
when you woke
do-
up, they were just like swingy, like. Swingy.
I never
Noodle
woke up
arms.
in the position that I started in, but yeah, I think I mentioned that lately I've been having these problems with my arms. My arms are just like I think I had a frozen shoulder,
Oh right, you did talk
Yeah,
about
yeah,
this frozen
yeah,
shoulder.
yeah.
right? And lately they've been getting a lot better, so I'm kind of relieved.
So your arms are better.
My arms
Yay.
are better.
They're very useful.
They're still not great, but they are better. They
they're
are
the
making
arms
progress.
you've got.
They are unthawing.
You've got like chicken wing, like chicken breast arms.
We joke about that, but at the same
God.
time, my arms are kind of.
That was more
Like,
raptor-like. You look like a raptor.
Yeah, what are they like?
Chris is
They're all
the most
crooked and curved.
unthreatening chicken I've ever seen.
Yeah, to be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis noble in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing them, end them.
Chicken arms.
Chicken arms.
Chicken
Yeah.
arms.
The famous chicken arm soliloquy from Hamlet.
Oh,
You know, I haven't even had dinner yet, guys. Come on.
me neither.
Oh, we're a hungry bunch.
Well, you need to go and after this recording, go and do some cooking or frying or baking or
Hunter and gathering.
or hunting or searching or stealthing or
Build a fire.
sleight of handing or acrobating or perceiving
Bring
the fact
it
that your
home.
fridge is empty.
Oh.
Trying to get there.
No, you got there. You got there. You got there.
We are talking today about skills, in particular, some of the more unique skills that are out there, and I want to start with perception.
Ooh.
Open the doors of perception, open the mind, LSD, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Timothy Dalton? No. Was it Timothy Leary?
Timothy Dalton.
That's one of the James Bond. Okay, just to put it out into the open, I can't stand the perception check. I think this is one of the, like, I did it all the time, and a lot of DMs do it all the time. Roll for perception, roll for perception. I'm like, why am I doing this wrong?
So, just to be clear, though, your system that you play doesn't have perception.
It doesn't have perception, no. It has facsimiles, which we can get into, but you like perception, right, Chris?
Love-hate relationship. I see the purpose. I see the purpose for it, but at the same time, it's totally overused, and it is kind of to the point where I'm getting tired of it as well.
Oh, I'm
But
gonna
again,
pin you to a wall right there. Hold on. You're exactly at the player problem here. What the hell do you guys define as the difference between perception and insight? Because dictionarily, they're not so different.
Dictionarily.
Dictionarily, I just coined that.
I love it.
Perception is seeing something out in the world, and something like the external world, and insight is the internal world. It's looking into somebody's eyes and noticing that they're about to do something. Like a good parent when they see their kid like about to do something stupid, and they kind of grab them and they're like, no, that's insight.
So, no, I kind of agree. I think that kind of falls more into the sense motive in the Pathfinder system for me.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
We'll give both of your versions, Chris, and I'll give both of my versions, and we'll see how close we got.
Well, the thing is, like, in Pathfinder, we don't actually have like an insight skill, right?
Mm-hmm.
We only have the Pathfinder. But yeah, I would probably put it exactly where Jay has it as well. Yeah, you heard me.
Oh my God! There's
We
agreement.
agree.
There's
We agree
agreement.
for once.
Yep.
Well, I'm pretty close to agreeing with you guys, because first off, let me start with the dictionary descriptions here. Perception, the ability to understand inner qualities or relationships. Insight, a penetrating understanding as of a complex situation or problem.
Okay.
And then they both actually share a very similar secondary, so I'm not going to go into that. For me, perception, as I had it personally written down, was the ability to notice physical things, oddities, more of a senses check.
Yes.
And insight, I had more sudden realizations, connections made, body language, vocal tics, lying, more emotional or human connected things.
Great. Totally agree. I'm
Okay.
down for that.
So it's more of an external, internal thing, like Jay was basically saying. So we're all kind of in agreement on that.
Yep.
Yeah, perception is being able to perceive the fact that it's that sense of like, there's gonna be a sneak attack around this corner here. There's an ambush laying in wait. My spidey sense is tingling because it's out there. And then insight's the more moment you're talking with somebody, and then they start to kind of change the subject. And insight is the thing when you roll when somebody says, "Can you open a window?" And the reason is because they're hot, not because they really want you to open the window.
What I thought you were gonna say, Jay.
Yeah, I thought you were going the other the down
Somebody
below.
had beans. Yeah.
Oh,
that's
what?
Oh my God, Chris
Yeah,
and I are both
open a
like,
window.
Say it.
Open a window.
They're
Yeah.
a little warm.
Like what?
Wait, what? Zip.
You said like down below. Open a window.
God. Open
The
sesame.
land down under.
Oh, because you farted.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Open the window.
No, because.
Oh my God. Oh my
No,
God.
because the way to say like XYZ in English when somebody's fly is open.
Yeah.
When somebody's fly is open, like in English, people used to say XYZ, examine
Yeah,
your zipper. I
remember-
don't know
I
if they say
remember
that
that.
anymore, right? I don't know what they do now. They probably just give like a look, like a look. Hey, like check down there, or more directly, they say, hey, your
They just
zipper's
say
open.
your fly's
So
open. Yep.
tiniest side tangent. You know why XYZ is the thing to say? Because that's the brand of the zipper. Or it's actually
okay.
it's
It's
actually
a Canadian
YYZ or
invention.
This is a tangent on a tangent on a tangent. The point is in
Okay,
Japanese
go.
they say like sekai no madoguchi wa aitemasu, right? Like so your world's window is open. They said so. That's why I went
Okay.
to like your window is open,
wow.
open a window. So that's where my brain was going.
Your world's window. Wow.
Yeah, the window to the world. You know what I mean?
We were headed down the crude humor
Yeah.
path.
Yeah, we're
Okay,
staying
let's
straight American.
let's get this back. Let's get this back on track then.
Yes. Visual, auditory, olfactory, touch, and taste senses. That's usually what I use for perception, right? We use sense motive for the insight, right?
Mhm.
So Pathfinder does have both in that way, because we have both of those.
Well, in that sense, maybe you can roll like a perception could be good for a situation when I'm smelling the soup
Toast.
to see whether or not I have if it's poisoned or something like that. There's garlic in it. You know what I mean?
I didn't know where you're going with that again.
But perception and insight are both in 5e. They're both in 5e.
Oh, cool.
I have acuity in my system. which takes the sense of being able to, like, hear what people are whispering through a wall or a closed window and things like that, or notice things when you're sort of in a moment of subterfuge and all that kind of stuff. And that would I use for the olfactory sense. I'd use it for that sense. But I think what I have the problem with is situations where it's just like, okay, just roll perception, and then everyone rolls, and it's like, why? Because like one person's gonna pass. It's
Totally
like the chances of like everyone, and then what if everyone fails? That I guess you can get a surprise attack on them, something like that. But you could have done that anyway. Just have a surprise attack. Just do it. You know what I mean?
Touch your dice for a moment.
Yeah, exactly. It's very strange.
See, for me, the problem with perception is that it serves as like a blanket for a multitude of everything, like of senses, which can both prevent danger and give hints, which are both essential for most TTRPG games, right? It's too powerful in some ways. It covers all of those
Strong.
senses and stealth, and also clues and fine details and things that are out of place and ambushes. Like it's just like for one skill, it does all that.
It's the knowledge of senses, because knowledge is my other big like problem area.
Okay.
So like, yeah, I'm with you. It's like how do you know when to just go with it and let it be encompassing, and when do you drill it down into finer details?
Yeah, well, I think any system that follows a kind of like a discipline approach where a lot of your skills are coming from, like even something like Fate Core, where you develop your character sheet based on like one thing that you're good at, something that you're better at, and one thing that you're great at, or whatever. And in this case, you could say like, due to my background as X, I now know how to perceive this better, and you could just like you pull that into, and that becomes like almost like a story moment, and you're not just doing these catch-all perception check. I guess the biggest problem I have with it is just having the whole table roll, and that seems to be like a
Yep.
generic GM 101 no-go for me. It's just like
One solution that I have for that, though, is sometimes I'll say, okay, only the person with the highest perception rolls.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah,
I do that.
So
I
then
do that with stealth. The player with the highest stealth rolls for the group, and they're the one that navigates the team through the.
Yeah, who's gonna like clumsy Bob lead the way?
The only time is when someone has an outrageously low stealth. Then I will
Right.
also make them roll too, because because if they're wearing like heavy armor with a tower shield, and they have like a minus like 5 dex, you're like, okay,
Got
come
little
on,
cat bells on.
no matter how well like Sneaky McSneakerson is gonna help you, there's no way that you're gonna
Can't pull
pass
out a
without being
miracle,
noticed.
buddy.
Hey guys, look at the top of that really precarious steep staircase. It's Clumsy Bob. Hey guys, what do you want me to do with this box of marbles?
No, Bob, no.
Sneaky McSneakerson!
Marbles everywhere.
Oh dude, that reminds
Oh
me
my
of a
God.
story very quickly. One day I was coming home from school. I may have even told this on the podcast. And as I walked into the front door, right there was like the stairwell that led up to the second floor. And my sister was crying because we had just got a little puppy, a little Yorkie Terrier, and it was the cutest little thing. And the way it would go down the steps was so cute. And she's like, I want to kind of be like that. And so she tried to walk down the stairs on her like front, but she didn't have like the upper body strength. And then she went down like all 12 steps, just like whoop, 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 in her head, like, oh God.
18 stitches, 2 replaced hips later.
So no acrobatic skill whatsoever.
She didn't like break skin or whatever, but like, but like the pride hit. Holy cow, like, but and then at the end when she was sort of like crumpled at the bottom of
That's great.
at the stairwell, and I had to like come help her up, and I was like, "Are you okay?" But I'm like saying it as I'm laughing.
Oh my God, this is such an 80s kids experience.
You didn't just like pull a Nelson Muntz and just like, ha, ha, right? Like,
I told this story at her wedding.
She no longer talks to Jay.
Okay, so I'd love to hear what some listeners do with perception at their table, how they sort of get around with it. I think, like in an investigative game, it seems like the worst thing to have because when you go into a crime scene investigation, you should just tell people what they see and then leave it at that, and let them put the pieces together. The mystery is in drawing all the threads into a through line, rather than like, oh, you missed the main clue, move on to the next space, and they're like, well, how did we ever find it out?
You lose.
You lose, yeah, exactly. You lose. You lose. Boom. Big red block letters, impact font.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, definitely never hide like anything like clue related. You know, did I say that right? Clue related.
Yeah, you actually got that. You
Clue
got that
related.
right.
Did I get it
Clues,
right? For some
clues,
reason,
clues related.
in my head, it didn't sound right. But yeah, anything clue related, don't hide it behind a perception check. Please don't. Or any kind of investigative check either. So.
I mean, unless you're mad at your table, then you do you.
I guess we're sort of on consensus here. Oust perception, right? Maybe.
No. Again, I said I kind of like having it there, but only for specific reasons, right? Like, I think having a passive perception number is a good thing to have, right? And for passive perception, you don't need to roll anything. You just kind of know their numbers. So if someone's trying to sneak by and they're not actively looking for someone, right? Then it's good to have something there so that you can be like, haha, I caught you, right?
Or having that roll for moments when you say, yeah, they bring the glass of milk up to their nose and they realize, ooh, that's gone bad, rather than like,
no, you don't buy it.
My like game designer spidey sense is tingling, and I'm saying like, how can I bake it into some other system is what I'm thinking about right now.
Yeah. Yeah, as a player, it'd be hard to do point buy for it. Like everyone knows to take insight. Everyone knows take insight. Every game is going to use insight, right? But like doubling up on these kind of perception kind of sense things, it's hard. So how many people are going to take it?
Like if you can get away, and when you in games that when you level up with, and maybe this could be when we talk about leveling up again. Like, okay, if you are the wizard class or whatever, and you get these extra points, so you're gonna throw them into your spellcraft and alchemy and all that kind of stuff. You don't have to worry about putting them into, pump and lift or whatever the fuck.
Pump and lift,
deadlift or whatever. But
like athletics?
Yeah, athletic. Yeah, exactly. I was trying to be more creative.
Okay.
Venice Beach.
The Venice Beach stat.
Venice Beach.
But like there's like those ones that are in the middle. There's a perception check that everyone feels that they should go, but then by having them there, are you giving players sort of a more difficult choice, or are you just giving them like, oh well, one of them's just got to go throw the perception and the other one's got to go to my main core ability, and that goes into like combat, like game economy and level up economy and all this kind of balanced stuff. Oh my goodness. But okay,
I did come up with a few solutions especially for my Pathfinder system. One could be that you don't change the skill itself, but you limit the number of perception checks you can make per session. They kind of maybe do like a 2 plus wisdom modifier type thing, right?
Benny system or something like that. You have
so that way limitations, right? Limitations on how many perception checks you can take. So when you say like, oh, who wants to make a perception check? And everyone's like, I do. Well, then they're all losing one there, right? So they got to decide when they want to use it. That's a possibility. No? Still no good?
No, I think that's getting, I like that more. I think maybe like I have exertion, because I think like exhaustion is an underused quality in RPG games, which I think is really good. And then that makes hit points become hit points again, kind of. And maybe a form of mental exhaustion tick. That players can just spend in that way to sort of like really, I'm going to focus on this a little bit more. I'm going to study it a little bit more, and
I think we're heading in the right direction there too.
All right. You said you had a quick fix for it. I think I first thought you were going to say something like, "Yeah, there is no God. Just be kind to one another."
Wow.
I mean, that
That was my
too.
point, but we can leave that for another day.
Speaking of perception, I perceive that we're alone in the universe.
Oh, Mark. Crippling dread. Here I come.
All
Via
right, well,
taste.
on that note, let's take a quick break because I perceive that this section is going a little bit long. I will come back to talk more about skills.
Wait, would that be a perception check? You perceive that this is going a little long? Wouldn't that be a wisdom sense motive?
So for the elusive and grab bag middle part, the thorax of the
Oh, we are bugs.
of the
Thorax
podcast.
of the
It's
podcast.
such a
Okay.
bug word.
Yeah. I bought myself a thesaurus the other day.
Thorax.
Is that clumsy Bob? Yuck.
Bob likes bugs.
I thought the 3RPG plays overrated, underrated.
Oh.
Have you ever played this before, Sandra?
Oh. I mean, I'm assuming you say a thing and I either say it's overrated
That's
or
right.
underrated.
There you go.
Okay.
I'm
I wasn't sure if there's
clever
anything more to
girl.
this game. Okay.
No, that's all there is. But it's deceptively complicated. There is no winning, but it provokes discussion. Okay, so I'm going to just say through a few RPG-related things, and then you tell me, you just, maybe I'll go 3, 2, 1, you guys both say your answer. How about that?
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. The Sorcerer class.
Sorcerer class.
Think about your answers. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Underrated.
Underrated.
I think there's a lot that could be done there outside of the norms.
I not enough people play sorcerers. I feel like because it's all about the ancestry of the sorcerer, right? It's like it's in their blood, it's in their essence, it's in their being, right? And a lot of people just stick with the the wizards with the familiars. So
Yeah.
I think you should play more sorcerers.
More sorcerers. Okay. Fireball spell.
Are we talking purely on a mechanics or a hilarity?
You take the tone as much however you like it. That
Okay.
all the things that you think
Overrated now, hilarity.
you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to say this. See, you
No!
don't know how to play
Shit.
this game.
I
You don't know how to
tainted
play
Chris.
this game. Yes,
We've
you
been
have
tainting
done.
Chris this whole time.
Yeah, the whole point is you don't. It's like
Okay, mechanics,
God.
mechanics only.
No. Like when we were playing the
One
that
broke
other
egg.
game, when we were playing Wavelength, you had the same problem. You kept
I
trying to
do, and you
explain
keep making me
everything.
Do
The
shit
whole
like this.
point is like you bring
I'm
all of those
verbose.
ideas into why you say overrated under, but you accept it. I'm changing it. No more
verbose.
Fireball. Well, I'm changing it.
No, fireball. I want to do fireball.
Okay, Fireball then. Oh my God! 3, 2, 1.
Underrated. Oh, sorry.
Ooh.
Sandra.
I was gonna say over, so
Okay, now you discuss. We already know what you think because you've already said it.
Well, I just think fireballs should be a lot more scary than they actually are. Right? I think they should be like horrifyingly scary. Right? Like people are just like fireball, and it's like, oh, your enemies get like 66 fire damage, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. It should be like their skin is melting off, and you describe like
you should
the
have a
horrors.
psychological reaction to what you've
Right?
just done.
Yeah. Well, I think that's true of all spells in general. To be honest.
Yep. I agree.
Agreed.
I agree.
Spells aren't scary. Spells aren't scary.
Yep. They're tools like garden tools. It's like no.
Okay, I got one for you guys. All right.
Oh.
Right. Animated statues. 3, 2, 1.
Overrated.
See, I fucked it up. I don't have an opinion. I don't think I've
Okay.
encountered enough animated statues to have a
Oh,
fucking
You
opinion.
still have to have an opinion. So well rated.
Overrated. Overrated.
Okay, go.
Overrated.
Explain.
Yes, go ahead, Sandra. Explain.
Too tropey at this point.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I just think, like, because it's been so overdone and it's not particularly scary, it just, they give information typically in the trope. They don't even attack you necessarily. Like, I think there's too much baggage. So they're not scary inherently when you launch them.
Especially if you're playing on a battle map or something like that, and a bunch of characters walk into a room where there's a bunch of statues just lining the walls. It's like, oh, well, clearly one of these things is going to come alive at some point during this battle.
I've actually used that and reversed it, where none of them come alive, where there's like these horrifying monsters that look like they're made out of stone, but nothing comes alive the entire time. So it builds tension because they're all like, something's going to happen, but it doesn't happen. And it's about subverting expectations, right?
And then they go to sleep that night and it happens.
If you're playing a Cthulhu game, another way to do it is like, I mean, the fact that like if you're just sitting in your room and then all of a sudden one of the objects in your room just starts moving around, you'd be freaked out.
Yeah.
So I think there's a good way to sort of like do it.
Or I'd just take more of whatever I was on. Reset this reality.
All right. Well, let us get then back to Skittles.
Skittles?
Skillz. Skittles.
Taste the rainbow.
And talk about some of the more unique skills, or maybe some skills that you'd like to see more of, or like something that you've pondered in the past to be like, that would be a cool thing to have in a game. Have you guys given this any thought?
In terms of new skills, I couldn't think of any. Like, the most recent one that you had mentioned was preparedness or preparation or whatever, right? Preparation H or whatever.
Yep, that's the one.
Right?
Classic.
Right? That's the only new one that I've seen in a while that I've been impressed by.
Yeah, it's the best. It's on the whole, it's the best skill.
Yeah. Boom.
Thank you, Michael Myers. So a few things that I have written down here that I think would be interesting. Contortionist.
Oh.
Like I don't know how useful it would be, but I think it could be like a really interesting, like just the fact that having contortionist on a skill sheet, on like a character sheet, sort of implies a certain type of gameplay, a certain type of thing that like, okay, you're gonna, maybe there's a little bit of body horror in here or something like that, or you're gonna have to, cave dive through very small spelunk through some very small places or something like that. That could be really unique.
Jay, you need to play more Pathfinder, man. We have escape artist is exactly that.
Yeah, I know, but
you can rename it contortionist, but
the name of a skill adds a lot to just like the feeling of a game.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
True.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Another one that I thought would be interesting is teach.
Okay.
Your character's ability to take information that they know and give it to other people to help them level up skills or something like that. That could be really interesting, kind of potentially game-breaking mechanic, but it could be really fun.
Woodcraft.
Yeah.
Sorry, Zomboid reference.
Stunt could be a fun one. I just like any games that have stunt mechanics in them, and there are a lot of them out there. But like where you can sort of like take a risk, and you can roll this other dice, and then that could either really kind of make your move propel forward and be amazing, or like critical fail, like it like doubles the stakes kind of thing. Take this dice along with the other dice, or make a stunt roll out of it and try something wild.
Okay.
But, I think that could be fun.
Because I tend to play a lot of magic users, spellcasters, anything more cerebral kind of. I always liked tactician kind of things, and I'd like to see that not always focused on the melee classes. So when it makes when it's encouraged that this is something that the more squishy characters can do to try to help, change the tide of something. Like even in battle, if they could just be like that person over there is real shady as shit, they're probably doing something, right? So tactician for everyone is a big one for me. I think Arcana or like academia, things like that, is usually wildly underused. If somebody has spent their whole life studying the oddities, the supernatural, I think that those checks should come into play a lot more often than they tend to. Usually they fall under knowledge instead. But if you've specified into learning those things versus wild magic, I think those are two separate things. Like if you innately know a thing or you've studied a thing, makes a very different character to me. And I think that there should be, depending on the system, like some systems are good. There is a lot of like ranking of how the knowledge you bring into a battle or an encounter or an investigation. There is a lot of breaking them out, but in other systems, it doesn't seem so highlighted to encourage that kind of RP.
So is knowledge a single skill?
I hate when I see that. Like
Because
there,
Pathfinder, it's like
you've got like
multiple
5 of them.
skills.
Yeah, you've got like 5 different.
5? No, you got Arcana, Dungeoneering, Engineering, Local, Nobility,
I guess I'm thinking
Planes.
way back.
So, yeah, like when you're talking about like knowledge, I'm like, we got them all.
But does it encompass all? Like
Almost.
And that's where knowledge gets tricky for me, because you can claim anything that's knowable, right?
Yep.
Within those classes, but are those breakdowns enough? And are they too many? Like at times.
For in Pathfinder's case, there's sometimes you have extra things that you add on to specific things. So like you could have knowledge arcana, but then you could have an additional like +5 to like wild magic on top of that arcana check as well. Meaningless. So that's how you could kind of differentiate that way, I think.
Yeah, I like being able to drill down, but it's funny that like at different tables with different DMs, it's like it doesn't tend to be worth the points. It doesn't tend to be worth specializing in. So it's very much like a table specific of whether you bother. And I find that to be really sad. And I think that's why a lot of casters tend to be very cookie cutter and just cast Fireball, is not feeling like that's going to pan out for them if they get specific.
Underrated.
Well, I think we've kind of gotten away from the question that I asked, but okay.
Oh, like, are you surprised?
Decoupling knowledge is like a core stat, and like all of the knowledge-based skills, I think, is the way forward for that. You could say someone is smarter than others, so therefore they have more knowledge of things, so therefore they can have more skills. Blah, blah, blah. That's one way.
You're the pub trivia guy.
Okay, but so getting
throw
back
some more
to
out.
the topic.
Yeah,
Yes.
throw some more out. Like I said, my well has been tapped.
Yep. So other skills that I think would be cool. I really like the 13th age escalation dice. Every round of combat, everyone gets stronger and more deadly. I think something like escalation, just skill in general. You're like, I think that's my skill in life. If I go into a business meeting, I just make it worse. Like I just come in, I start asking questions that makes everyone aggravated. It's like, what are you doing?
So
raise the temperature of a room or something like that, right?
Okay. Because I'm thinking like most of these skills require a roll for them, right?
Yeah, well, that could be the role. You're attempting to make the fighter more deadly, or the magic more deadly, or just like the encounter a little bit more stressful, or sanity-inducing, sanity-reducing, or something.
It's almost like giving advantage to the situation.
Who knows?
Is there a counterbalance to that though, where it's like calming?
No,
like
if you fail, it de-escalates the situation. I don't know.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. All right, I gotcha.
And then other ones, I have cool, which I like.
Cool.
Yeah, your character's coolness. Roll for cool. Could be a charisma-based check. You know what I mean? You strut across the room, you pull out some sunglasses, you roll your cool check, and you get a crit one. You say, "Oh, they're Oakleys." Oh.
How well you can hit the jukebox to make it play the right song?
Yeah, exactly. Cool would be an awesome skill to have. The two more, which are like strangeness, another one, like or awkward. Roll for awkwardness.
Yes.
Like how weird your character is in a room, and you're just like,
No, that could be immensely fun. Oh my god, that'd be
so fun.
So much fun to RP.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You just don't understand the customs. You just don't fit in. That's amazing.
You're just strange.
Yeah.
And then I wrote nightmare.
Nightmare. Okay.
As a skill. So I left this kind of ambiguous, but I thought this could work in a real kind of like magic heavy, like maybe even like some sort of psionic world or dreamscape world where you roll to like sort of adapt to change the world around you via your mental process, and like but changing things towards the worse or towards the darkness in order to sort of like get away from a situation. Like you're running away from the demons in the dream world and stuff like that, and you need to create something worse. Okay, roll a nightmare check to see if you can create something from that world. It could be quite interesting. So like breaking magic into different rather skill types, and then having to roll for that rather than just having magic outright as a series of spells that you have in a spell book or something like that. Could be an interesting system.
Yeah, I gotta say, I love both the idea of like tactics being a skill and awkwardness being a skill.
Yeah,
Like,
and having them at the same time.
Like that's crazy. What would so tactics, that'd be what, intelligence based for me if I were to implement this for Pathfinder. That'd be intelligence based, right?
Probably intelligence. The one time I played that with like a mastermind rogue that was being very political, but it had to be on a battlefield situation. It was definitely very much like intellect. You weren't leaning on your generals to tell you something. You were observing things they were missing. So, and he was just high intelligence, which was a fun thing to play with a rogue.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, Jay, what's awkwardness then in terms of those basic stats?
I want to throw my 2 cents into tactics because it's in my game, and it's used in multiple ways. One, when you're on a big scale, when you're controlling an army, your ability to effectively move that army around through the battlefield. Are you Napoleon or are you just some schlub who runs away from the battlefield? So that's tactics. Another way is to sort of give the players a little bit more game information so that they can be more tactical in their decisions as to whether they run in and attack an enemy. You get to say, okay, give the armor class or the hit points of the enemy that you're about to attack from a distance or something like that. You see the fighter can be able to distinguish a rule set or a skill that like the enemy hasn't used just by looking at him, like by seeing a martial artist walk in, you'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, that guy has like the power of the crane or whatever, the crane kick. Put him in a body bag.
Oh, neat. That's kind of neat. So kind of like take a more of a meta approach, give them like them actual stats and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, then that reflects on the role play because then the characters are going to act differently with the knowledge that their players have. Yeah. Great. So let us wrap up with what do you guys like of the skills that are out there? What are some of your faves? I mean, you've already mentioned mine, Chris, and it's preparedness. Preparedness I believe it was Robin D. Laws who created it. It's just incredible. It's great.
I actually do have a question about that, though. What are the limitations to preparedness, though?
The limitations to preparedness are the same as the limitations to just the kind of the imaginative game space that you and your players are creating around the table, right? If a player is being kind of narrative or has some narrative control over the game and then starts to say like, oh, in the pub, and they say, oh, I saw a Tyrannosaurus Rex the other day. And it's like, no, you didn't. Yeah. No, you didn't see a Tyrannosaurus Rex. And so that you've sort of jumped the shark of the real world. And I think
you got to work at it.
The same is true of preparedness.
But would it be like, say, like you're in a situation and you had already notified the guards beforehand that something was going down? Would that be considered preparedness? Because that one skill would change the battlefield or the situation very much compared to any other skill that I could possibly think of.
Do if it seems to fit that character's MO and the way they've been RPing in downtime moments and all that kind of stuff, for sure. Yeah, like it's so situational that it's hard to say in a way. If you can't just say like, yeah, okay, you can't do the Bill and Ted thing. What it does.
Something's in the bush. You put something in the bush beforehand, and then now you have it.
But you know what? Honestly, since we've had preparedness, I'm gonna say that it's changed how players go into a thing. So like, no, nobody's put a thing in a bush and then hope that worked, like not doing Hail Marys, but we've absolutely had like people go, I'm gonna inspect the battlements in case we have to come out this way, like things like that. So people do tend to, if you give them the skill, try to adapt it over time into like how they RP, how they gameplay, how they try to save themselves down the road if something goes bad.
So
And go
in
ahead.
my mind, I was thinking that it was more like those it just so happens tokens, right? Like I've done one of those heist games,
Mm.
and we had these tokens where well, it just so happens that
Mm,
I bribed the guard. No, it was great. It worked so well because I had my own too, right? So as the DM, I could also throw things in there as well, and
Mm.
we had a great time. But it's not the same as this preparedness thing.
yeah, I think that's the preparedness for, and I'm not knocking this system because I'm sure it is actually a lot of fun, but I feel like it is preparedness for newer RPers because it is the next step.
Okay.
It's where you have to kind of set the stakes for something, like be thinking ahead, right? Where the token gives you an option. I just had a great idea now, but I didn't have it 20 minutes ago, and you can
Yeah.
still do it. So it's like something like, yeah, I think both systems have merit and have a lot of fun. Preparedness is probably a little harder.
It just so happens is a great mechanic. Seeing that preparedness is a skill check, there's the degree of possibility of failure,
Mm-hmm.
and it also can be like if your character's really good at that, it gives a wrinkle as to how your character thinks, and I'm
Well,
uh,
even with the it just so happens tokens though, I still used a fate dice. So
yeah.
there were still degrees of
Oh,
success
good.
and
Yeah.
also failure, right? So didn't everything didn't always work out. Like maybe that guard you bribed him, but he's late, right?
Ah!
So
You all know when you're going out, if you're going on a day trip or a weekend outing with a few friends like that, and you have that one friend who just always forgets all the shit. So you got to
Yep.
be more prepared. You're this character that had the higher preparedness skill check to put wet wipes in your bag or whatever,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yep.
to bring a towel or something like this. So yeah, I think ultimately it's a good skill because it serves as a shorthand for not having to have a whole list of skills that you then have to go shop for and all this kind of stuff. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
by the way, you only have 50 feet of rope when it's a 70-foot drop or something like that,
Yeah.
and you're
Okay.
lacking those 20 feet, and then you could say, well, blah 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 blah. So
I'm
it's
prepared.
easy. Yeah, you're unprepared.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, there can be some pushback against that. How about you? What are some of your favorite skills?
I love me some knowledge local. So that's like street smarts.
Yeah.
Street
Mm-hmm.
So that's
yeah.
like finding like rumors, traditions, popular locations, like knowing the right questions to ask and to find out like, where you should be going to find X within a settlement, right? And I often think of like, like I think of Jesse Pinkman, right? He knows where to go to speak discreetly or to find the right dealers, or he knows the places to outright avoid. Like, Walter White, he has all the smarts, but Jesse Pinkman, he's got the knowledge local.
Mm-hmm.
He's got
So,
the knowledge local.
I'm gonna
I
build
think,
right
yeah.
on yours.
Go.
I love any kind of street smarts, any of that. I also love diplomacy, especially if it's tied to like the court airs and the things like that. So
Yeah.
anything that lets you shine in one environment but you suck at completely because you can't know both, right? It feels weird if you know both. Those are some of those like great RP moments where the rest of your table is just like, oh shit, like you just saved us from a disaster because you had the speak down, you had the thing, you had that perfect roll that like opened the gates for us. So I love those both.
That leads me into one of my other favorite ones, which is etiquette, which
Mm-hmm.
is a skill of mine. I haven't been able to use it as much as I'd like, but like
Etiquette.
the etiquette / grace
Yep.
/ romance skills are for courting or just being being the barbarian in the court of the sort of the very kind of conservative tropical paradise or whatever the hell, like you walk into the palace and everyone's like, okay, now everyone just make sure you don't like cough because it's seen as weakness or something like this in this empire, and then now you got to like make sure that you maintain this etiquette even though it's like not what your culture's that could be really fun. Yeah,
Playing within that same realm though, I love bluff checks or deception checks, right? Because both extremes are so memorable. Either they know that you're outright lying, or it leads to like which sometimes adds to like these like comical extra hurdles, or you spectacularly pulled the wool over their eyes. And even the ones that are kind of like mid, right? You're still kind of, it gives you a little bit of tension, right? Because like, did they buy it, or I don't exactly know. So just deception checks in general. Yeah, beautiful. Do more of them.
I'll
I'd
throw
like-
one last one in there for stealth when you lean into the tension, because
Ooh.
stealth makes players want to take risks, and the longer you could draw out that tension, those rolls, the everything, the details, the oh my god, the time is going excruciatingly slow as you step through this really dangerous gauntlet. Oh, love it.
And one way to do that could be to have them make the roll covered,
Yep.
like in a cup or something like that, and then role play out the scene, get them deep into the action. They've come out of the cover, and then you kind of all reveal, rather than know that you've succeeded, and then describe what you've done, make the roll, describe what you're going to do without. And now you're sort of like writing checks that you hope that you're asking cash. You know what I mean? So to speak. Well, on that note, before this check bounces, or before I roll a 1 on my etiquette checks, and make another fart joke.
I think it's social graces right there.
Of which I lack in spades, and hearts, and clovers, and diamonds. On that note, sleight of hand. That card, is this the card you're looking for? What am I talking about?
I have no. I'm like, where is this leading? Is there an ending to this at some point?
Mesmerize us.
Deception check. Poof.
Smoke bomb. Ciao.
The 3RPG podcast is produced and performed by Sandra Rosner, Chris Takasaki, and Jay Underwood. Music and audio editing, mix, and master is done by Jay Underwood, art by Chris Takasaki. If you'd like to be a guest on the show or have any questions, please email us at 3rpgpodcast@gmail.com. If you would like to support the 3RPG podcast, please visit our Patreon or visit our website at www.3rpg.com. That is THREERPG.com.